Welcome back. It is time to talk about the landscape of YouTube, specifically what is outdated and not going to work going forward, because there are several things that you might not have thought about that you should probably stop doing. Howdy everyone, Nate here. The first outdated tip that we need to stop doing is this. Stop treating each video on your channel independently. Notice the nice imagery here of an independent lonely island? We need to stop doing that. Previously on the YouTube platform, it was easier for you and I to say, hey, I'm gonna come up with a video idea and I'm going to work through the video idea. Yeah, it fits into my niche and generally what my channel is about. I'm going to publish that video and then good. I wrap it in a bow, I tie the ribbon off, and I'm good. I publish that video, and then I do it again, and then I do it again. However, it is far better now, in fact, it is almost required now, that you think of each video as connected with other videos on your channel. For each video that you're planning, as you're planning, outlining, or scripting it, we should have in mind another location that we're going to lead them to. With the default location, the best location in most cases being another piece of content on your channel. Now, why is this so darn important? Well, number one, it helps the algorithm. I've spoken extensively about this, and I will probably continue to speak about this because it matters so much. When you show the algorithm that you create chain viewership, someone watches one video, then they move to another video, and then they move to another video, and they seem to be enjoying each of those videos, you have like the favored cards. The algorithm becomes your number one ally if you do that well. So it makes sense for us to think a bit broader and think in terms of multiple videos watched instead of just an independent island. The other big reason to do this is for this reason, to help yourself. I'm gonna break it to you here. If the only benefit that you are getting from publishing videos is to see a views number going up and maybe some YouTube Partner Program revenue, if that's the only benefits you're getting, that's great. I don't want to downplay that, but I'm also gonna say you're probably missing out. So what I'm proposing here is as you're thinking of each video that you're publishing on your channel, aside from the default of leading to another video on your channel, it also makes sense to occasionally intentionally build in another location that you're leading your audience to. And that could be to a Patreon or an offer that you have. And it can also be to additional ways that you help people. Next, I sense a lightning round coming on. Lightning round. These are some more outdated things that you may or may not have heard of before, but you need to be reminded of it even if you have heard of it before, because we need to. Stop inviting people to like, subscribe, and comment without a good reason closely associated with it. Good reasons could include a specific question if you're asking people to comment, or they just laughed, they just had an aha moment, or they see how much effort went into producing that video. Next. Stop neglecting your posts tab. It's because it's still the case this year that a little bit amount of effort to create a post for your community often leads to an disproportionate amount of engagement and reaction from your audience. Stop neglecting your posts. Next, stop telling people about your channel. Seriously, do not tell people about your channel until it is statistically insignificant if they come and watch your videos. Quick story time here. I had a client recently who told me after the fact, after they published the first video on their channel, hey, I went and I told a bunch of my friends in my network and all that. Well, guess what happened? That first video got a bunch of views, yes, but then the following videos didn't. There are two fundamental flaws with that. A, those friends and family are not the audience that you're trying to attract most of the time. Therefore, they don't behave like that audience. And two, if you send a random influx of people to your channel, the algorithm can get confused. They can't clearly identify what kind of audience you have. I've only ever seen it stunt the growth of YouTube channels. All right, we need to talk about the next big thing to stop this year. Stop trying to be so original. Now hold on there. I heard the voices of 10,000 artists and creatives screaming out in terror and then silence. As a creative myself, let me explain what I mean here. I want you to observe a pattern. If you look at the other channels in your space, the ones that are exploding a bit faster than the others, you all know that one channel that you're like, dang, why are they doing so well? It's because they've leveraged one thing. They've understood what the audience is already aware of and they're making content for that audience. Think of it this way. We'll want to find the right mix between what you want to publish, that's the originality side of things, and what your audience wants, what they're already aware that they want, because there's a sweet spot in between the two called what's working on YouTube. By far and away, the best way that I have found to identify and keep yourself up to date on this what is working on YouTube is actually something developed by my good friend Marcus. Him and his team have been developing a tool called Velio. It's very grassroots, small development team based off of real creators like myself. In fact, Marcus has reached out to me and said, hey, what do you think of it? What would you improve? What features would you like added to it? And as Marcus was walking me through it the first time, I kept going, that's exactly what I'd want. And that's also exactly what I want. And that's also exactly what I want. So let me show you what it does. When you log into your Velio, you're greeted with this main page where you can research things. You can search concepts just like a YouTube search, but the main power comes in the filters. You can actually filter the searches that you make according to very important things for identifying what's working on YouTube, like the multiplier, meaning if you search according to a 2x multiplier, the videos that will return, their view counts will be at least double the average viewership on that channel. It's a standout video. It's something that you and I can learn from as we're trying to not be quite so original by understanding what our audience wants. And in addition, you want to filter by views, subscribers, or video duration, as well as a variety of very helpful advanced filters like video engagement rate, like how much are people liking that video? How engaged is the audience of that video? But also you can filter according to when that video was published so you can find current trends, current valuable videos for your specific audience. So the best way I've found to do that, you go and you can hit save channel, and that gets saved over to a list over here. Let me show you an example of what this looks like for a client I'm working with right now. We're building a channel in the history space. So we've gone through and we've saved a whole bunch of history-based channels. So now as we're coming up with ideas for videos, we don't have to say, I don't know if this video will do well. Instead, we can go like this. Again, we can go over here, filter. We can hit, I created a preset. You can save presets in here. I created a simple preset of, it's a 2x multiplier and is published within the last 365 days. And then I can go down here and hit sort by date, the newest, meaning the most recent. And voila, of all these channels that I've saved, I've curated a list of audiences that I want to keep an eye on. Of all of these channels that I've saved, I now know all of the videos from those channels that were standouts, that were the extra good video ideas. Do you see why that is so awesome? So you know me, I spoke with Marcus about this and I negotiated something. If you're watching this video within the first 14 days of it being published, I want you to look at the pinned comment on this video, where I'm going to explain what I was able to do, because yes, I literally reached out directly to Marcus and asked for this for you for this video. So go check out the pinned comment and give Velio as we're following along with this next thing. Also, I had to mention here, look at this beautiful slide here. Aside from the text on these papers, these are all hand drawn and hand colored. You can see it bleeding through the paper. Wow, beautiful. Those are amazing. All right, it's time for the next thing. Stop freaking burning out. I say that in a semi-roasty way, but what I mean is from the heart, stop burning out by being strategic. Have you ever heard the phrase, go ahead and boop the like button on this video if it's being helpful? Oh wait, that's the wrong, oh, it's this one. But really the phrase is, YouTube is a marathon. What if you didn't have to do it that way? What if there was more than one way to approach YouTube that wasn't such a burnout for you? Almost all of the advice for publishing on YouTube and for approaching time management on YouTube is for the marathon approach. But many YouTubers are actually different, and we can actually think differently and approach content creation differently. So here's what I'm proposing as we create a content plan that fits you. You take a step back and challenge your assumptions. If the current idea in your head is that the only way to be productive is to follow a given set of rules, like a certain routine, what if instead you could view it as a project? You do everything all at once and then you don't think about it for 3 weeks. Or you record all of your videos in 2 weeks and you're done for the entire year. I know, there's a variety of different channel types and some can't actually do that directly. What I'm doing here is I'm proposing that you dismantle your current idea of all the stuff that goes into producing content for your channel and you make it fit you. Because, and this is talk from the heart here, from me to you, if you find yourself constantly burning out, here's my permission for you to trust yourself and pay attention and adapt. Find new options because it's possible you don't have to do anything like the way that you were trained in all of your corporate jobs up to this point. Oh, and by the way, if you're the type of person that does well having a general idea of how to approach things that you can then adapt, I just barely published a video about this I'm going to talk about later on, where I go through and I share my updated strategy of how I would go about planning content for the year. What's that? It's another lightning round? Where's my lightning? Where are you? It's lightning round. Kablammies. Stop overanalyzing your YouTube analytics. Until you have a critical mass of viewership and data to work off of on your channel, overanalyzing YouTube analytics is almost completely pointless. Think of it like a laser focus. There are a few specific things that will be very helpful for you to understand. And I get it, having the ability to understand which analytic is most important for the problem you're facing is a skill you can acquire, which is why I've created other videos on this and I plan to in the future. Next, stop ignoring the big picture of your campground. We talked extensively about this when we talked about it was value and the finding the right mix, specifically what's working on YouTube. The thing I want you to take away here is if you haven't already made it a habit of this, you want to make a habit of paying attention to what is happening in your campground. I call it your niche, your campground on YouTube. You want to stay on top of that by checking in at least monthly, which again, I'll just put another plug here for Valio. That tool it's almost like it was custom made to make that easy for you. Because what you can do is just add all the channels in there and then each month come back and say, hey, what's new? What was published in the last 30 days that's being a standout for this audience? Next. Stop making YouTube your sole obsession. Not much to say on this aside from just remember there's grass outside and you need hobbies and friends outside of this project. Just please. I'm speaking for myself here as well. Just please remember that. Next, stop repurposing content. And we've got this lovely recycle symbol here. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. But this shouts out particularly to the business owners and team leads who are watching this video. It can be tempting to take the approach of, well, we just need to think of it as a content mill. Just repurpose this video into 1,000 different pieces. That is a strategy that has worked in the past because of the mass amount of spread you could have for those pieces of content. What I'm seeing evolving is that for each platform, it's almost like we need to have an original piece of content specifically tailored to how the audience behaves on that specific platform. And this is because the quality of the content is going up, and so content mills do not perform the same way that they used to. All right, next big thing. Stop giving your audience whiplash. This one is just awesome. The use of the curly cues and the stars, it's beautiful. More creators are doing this than realize are doing this. There's a high likelihood you watching this are doing this in some way. Generally, if you're publishing on YouTube and you're not getting the traction that you want, or your traction is unpredictable, like one video will get a lot of views, another will get almost none, and it will go like this all over the place. That comes from being unconscious of a few things. Different video lengths, like wildly varying video lengths. If one video is an hour long and then the next is 3 minutes long. Another more obvious is topics. If one topic is a vlog and then the next topic is a how-to. The other major way that creators, perhaps yourself watching this, are giving your audience whiplash is by not understanding audience goals. I call it having common themes. What is the overarching common theme that is the goal of your audience for your content? And if they're only accomplishing it with some of your pieces of content, they're only going to watch those specific pieces of content and not the other ones. So to demonstrate that, we have a lovely mixer here. This is a no sign on a mixer for beating egg whites and stuff. That's what this is. It's a mixer. Because for your audience, they have to be able to quickly identify why they want your channel, the entirety of your channel. For the algorithm, they have to be able to quickly identify what section of audience wants your content so that it knows how to spread your videos. And in order to avoid this, I recommend being strategic. Again, I have a video that I'm going to recommend you watch after this, where I created a system for identifying the content you're publishing so that you don't accidentally give your audience whiplash. But before then, I think it's time for another lightning round. Stop trying to do too many things at once. Pick one thing to focus on at a time. And may I recommend another one thing for you to focus on at this point?